We're covering the bones of the hands and the feet. We're starting with a right hand, and we're looking at the palmar view or anterior view in the anatomical position. And we're learning the carpals, the metacarpals, and the phalanges. We'll start with our carpals, and in our wrist we have 8 bones. The way I teach this is with a mnemonic to start lateral and count 4 bones over to the medial side, and then go back to the lateral side with 4. We use the mnemonic so long to pinky. Here comes the thumb. So as we learn this, the first one that's the most proximal is scaphoid, and it's kind of shaped like an S. So I remember the S in scaphoid. Scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, and we can see triquetrum when we turn it. This is triquetrum, and on top is pisiform. So long to pinky, and now I continue back with the next 4. Here comes the thumb. Hamate, capitate, trapezoid, and trapezium. Hamate, capitate, trapezoid, trapezium. Students tend to get these 2 last ones confused. I just remember that the D becomes before M in trapezoid and trapezium. Scaphoid, lunate, triquetrum, pisiform is the rock on top, hamate, capitate, trapezoid, trapezium. Now to our metacarpals. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 metacarpals. Now we have the number. Number 1 metacarpal, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. These are all my metacarpals. I just remember the big guys, number 1, the thumb, and the big toe are number 1. So metacarpals to my digits or phalanges. For the finger, we call it the pollex. It's got 2 bones to it. It's got a proximal phalange and a distal phalange, so 2 bones. The rest of my phalanges have a proximal, middle, distal. Proximal, middle, distal, proximal, middle, distal. Now we can name them with the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, plus its designation of proximal, middle, distal, and then it's a phalange. So this would be number 3, proximal phalange. This would be number 4, middle phalange. This would be number 5, distal phalange. This is my hand. When we look at the foot, this is a right foot, and we'll start with our 7 tarsals, then the metatarsals, and then back to phalanges. There's 7 tarsals. Some students like to learn it with a mnemonic. I like to just learn the terms in this case because I think they're bigger bones, easier to learn as you study them. The big one, which is the heel, is the calcaneus. So it's the heel what I step back on, dorsiflexion, and I have the calcaneus. On top, T for top, this is all the talus. And it curves here, and it looks like more than 1 bone. From here to here, this is all the talus. Calcaneus and talus. Running across is navicular. Calcaneus, talus, navicular. And then I have 1, 2, and 3 cuneiforms. I have a medial cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, and a lateral cuneiform. And then lastly, on the lateral side, the one that's supposed to look like a cube, this is cuboid. So 7 tarsals. Calcaneus, talus, running across, navicular, 1, 2, and 3 cuneiforms, medial, intermediate, and lateral cuneiforms, cuboid. Similar to the hand, now we count our metatarsals, except we go the opposite direction. Remember we said thumb and big toe are number 1. So this would be 1 metatarsal, 2, 3, 4, and 5 metatarsals. My phalanges, for the toe, we call the thumb the pollex For the toe, we call it the hallux. 2 bones, just like the thumb. It's got a proximal and distal phalange. For my toes, 1, 2, and 3. Proximal, middle, distal. Proximal, middle, distal. Proximal, middle, distal. Proximal, middle, and distal. Counting the numbers, this would be number 2, proximal phalange. This would be number 3, middle phalange. This would be number 4, distal phalange. This is my foot.